Welcome to TLC for the Soul podcast, where soul meets spirit. You have entered into sacred space. I'm your host, TAMI Chambers, and I'm here to help you shine. Now let's get going on this podcast journey. And now we're going to do what I call frolicking and what the Fae call glumphing. Glumphing, glumphing, glumphing. We're going to take a little spirit walk. Some of you may recognize this space and this place from our summer videos last year. If you're watching, if you're listening, we're out at one of our many parks by the river. You can check in with your master senses. We're going to see what we see on our glumph. What feels like the energy of the month. Spirit animal of Canadian geese with lots of babies. Getting our feet on the ground. I'm recording this the day before Lionsgate. There's a lot of high vibes coming in. There's Solaris going behind the cloud. There's a need to ground in all of these energies on our glumph. So I've had a lot of mice in the house, and I put my little humane traps out for them, and this is where I bring them and set them free. We're going to just take a look around. I'm glumphing, I'm glumphing. Look at that. Dinner bottle orgidana 222 on the timer. 222 on the timer as we look at a tree. That's two trees that have become one. I've been hearing about, although not seeing anything in my physical reality, about Liz with Guided by Angels. Her channel is all twin flames, and she said that she's been getting many, many, many comments about twin flames coming into union. So I think August is the month for that, for energy to ramp up. It's one of many important stargates on the twin flame journey. But I'm not going to do a bunch of twin flame stuff. I'm glumphing, trying to ground and earth. Now, when we used to do this walk in Texas along the Guadalupe River, we used to find all sorts of interesting items that people had left behind as they jumped into the river to take a swim or go tubing or paddle boarding. We would find shoes and clothes and things left behind at the banks of the river. This little river is very different energy. It's very still and quiet, and I swear sometimes it flows in different directions. Sometimes to the left, sometimes to the right. Maybe we'll see one of our, how would I know it's my mice friend? I wouldn't know. They're little like field mice in my house. They're not like, oh, robins. They're not house mice, they're like field mice. Got robins, so new beginnings. Yeah, this river is very, very quiet. There's not a lot of activity on it. So there's no like boating up and down and all that. It doesn't flow very fast, depending on the time of the year. I'm glumphing up. Gotta watch out for the, I've got boots on. Watch out for the Canadian geese left behinds. There's so many geese out here. So I'm just gonna take us on this little journey as part of our hangout. If you're listening, take in all the sounds. Get off me, there's a fly. All the sounds that are surrounding your senses right now. We have a dead tree, very old dead tree. And that will be the energy that you'll see in the aesthetic of the decks that I've pulled out for this month. I don't want mosquitoes, thank you. I'll be giving you a preview. We'll be working with Brian Froud's Fairies Oracle that wanted to work very closely with the Hush Tarot. And we're in this liminal space now of like early fall in the Northern Hemisphere. Things starting to very slowly, like it's this dichotomy between first harvest, yet you can see that things are also slowly starting to decay and fall away. I was already noticing some fall colors in some of the leaves on the ground, and leaves actually falling from the trees already. I'm going to go to a particular tree down here and then I'm going to turn around. So you'll see there's not a lot of found items. There's even not a lot of trash. I thought this right here on the ground was something plastic I was going to pick up and throw away, but it's actually a little web. A little like spidery web in the grass. There's the train bridge. So I encourage you to get out and meet your local land spirits. Feel, and maybe even go somewhere you don't normally go to feel the difference in the spaces and the places that you're visiting. I'm going to go to this really cute little tree spirit over here in my Glumph. It's very non-eventful. It's just very serene. Oh, there's a woodpecker. Let's see if he'll stick around. He's on top of this little box in this tree. Get away, bugs. He's tapping on this box. Oh, he flew away. All right, we're going to end over here. This little tree spirit is like, hey, come slide down my roots and go on a shamanic journey with me. It's a woodpecker spirit animal. Okay, I'm going to do one more pass as I head back to the car. So I would definitely say this area, in terms of human interaction, is much less than other spaces that I've taken you all before. Whenever I come here, there are humans around, but it's much more nature-based, much more elementals, much more elders and ancestor spirits. It's a huge Native American territory up here. Many elder spirits chose to stay behind and honor the land and continue to do their sacred work out in these spaces. That's a really nice look right there. And then I do hear human interaction, like a little tiny bit, like there's a car with like a big loud radio coming around the circle at the park. Oh, there's a train coming. Maybe we can watch the train go by for a second. Why am I hearing that beeping? Many people in this town do what I do. So the music going by is a car going by with somebody who's got their dog out the window. I would say many people in this town take their dogs on car rides. It's not a train, it's just a little, what is it? Like one of those things that checks the tracks. Oh, it's going backwards. Holy smokes. Okay, so there's some retrograde energy coming in. It's like, check yourself before you wreck yourself. I think it's checking the tracks. Oh, that's why that beeping sound is. It's going backwards. So I think it's all about just feeling into, am I frolicking? I'm not skipping, but I'm having a really good time. We're being guided to really like get outside and put our feet down in the earth and just really get back into nature. Now I'm looking over here because before I end this, I don't think that's what this is, but we do have a lot of beavers in this area too. I've never seen one, but if I were to say anything, I would be like, that area back there beyond the trees looks like something a beaver would really be excited about, like a beaver dam kind of area. I'm gonna zoom back out a little bit. And this is our August Glumphing. I hope you enjoyed that. Get your feet in the earth. Hello, friends. Hello. And welcome to this August energy hangout. Doing a little bit of clearing with the golden egg. No, I don't know. It's a yellow egg, but we can pretend it's a golden egg. As I wrap us all in love light and light love, inviting in the guides who overlight this show, Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, the Pleiadians. For this part of our hangout, I just wanted to play a little bit with my aesthetic of August. Some of the decks that I brought in to work with us this month, which means we should do a few more readings, right, on the channel. What's the point of these decks? But before that, I have the Handbook de los Santos candle, red apple and cedar. I named it the Handbook de los Santos candle. It's a very highly fragranced candle, according to this. And we're going to light this wood wick candle. Now, hopefully the flame is not, I have to break off little tiny pieces because even though the wood wick is very short, this is, if you listened to the August energy story on the podcast, I only do that on the podcast on Sundays, then we brought out this candle for this week, and I said the flame reminded me of Owie Bowie, our little sniggle ghost that's been hanging around us for the past couple of weeks. Yeah, that little triangle look. It looks like a little ghost. And you will find in the aesthetic right now for this month that we are already feeling and bringing in those spooky autumn vibes. even though it is August, we're in this interesting threshold. See, it's like a really big flame. It's really interesting threshold space right now. And it sparks up and gets all crazy. So we're going to put him up there. This threshold between the dark and the light, as we had our first harvest with Lunasa on the 1st. I'm recording this, hey, on the Lion's Gate. We all made it to the Lion's Gate with our sanity in check. Bringing in the spirit of the swan and the raven with these feathers. My swan feather from Maui, Hawaii, and I do not know this feather, this crow feather, raven feather is somewhere. I got this somewhere in California because these are my California feathers. So the dichotomy of the dark and the light. Feeling drawn to more. I know in the southern hemisphere you're coming up on different holidays, but there's still fire festivals. There'll still be. We got the equinox next month. This month we have some very important astrology. We've got the Lion's Gate, but that's not it. The guides want me to mention the new Venus star point in Leo that's happening this month. It culminates with a really big conjunction with the Sun on August 13th. And I might remember to link to it, I might not, but Molly McCord, the astrologer, did amazing channeling on this. If you're a twin flame, or even if you're not a twin flame, if you've been calling in some sort of new partnership, I know every portal and every gate, it's like we get closer to these things, I guess, those of you that are here. But she said something that piqued my interest in that channeling. I think she just did it a couple of days ago. But as I was preparing for this show, a notification of it came out again, and I was like, I'm already listening to that. So they want me to talk about it here, but she talked about it only happens, I won't go into the whole gist of it, but the full like phase of it only happens every 8 years. So every 8 years there's kind of this renewal with this Venus star point. And I've been getting major confirmations about this star point energy over the past 2 or 3 days. So I think it's very important to bring up for those of you listening. But it said, she said that it's this month, culminating on the 13th of August, that this was the energy that was going to bring in those soul connections that you've been wanting to manifest or trying to manifest or wishing for a very long time now. And it was going to be those soul connections that you hadn't been with in a physical lifetime since Atlantis and Lemuria. And I was like, ding, ding, ding. I said that a really long time ago, that those are the kind of soul connections that we've been working on here at the channel, helping all of us manifest those true blue love of your life, soulmate / divine counterpart / partnership / twin flame, whatever it is you're manifesting, because not everybody's looking for, doing the same thing, but that those were the soul connections that now, with the energy of the planet the way it is, the way we've been able to up-level the grid so much, can handle, you guys know I've been saying this for a long time, can handle those type of relationships now, those stars that come together like quasars, that there more and more of those are starting to be able to be manifested in the 3D and are moving beyond just a 5D kind of a thing, that they're able to be manifested and experienced for the amazing thing that they truly are in the 3D, in the physical, in this lifetime. So that is good news. And if you that piques your interest, I would highly recommend listening to that channeling. I thought it was very interesting, and it talks about, you know, think about what you were doing. There's something with the star point that happens every 4 years and every 8 years, so you can kind of play with the what happened 4 years ago that kind of is getting you to where you are now. And then I remember about 3 or 4 years ago working very heavily with Venus on some major life-changing themes, and then 8 years ago what was going on then in your life. And then those are some areas that could get renewed and upgraded this time around. And she said that the August 13th is like the start of a whole new 8-year cycle. So I just wanted to put that out there. What is our candle doing? Our candle is huge. And this little creature, this little stone, I know you can't see it if you're listening, and I didn't really welcome everyone in because I was so excited to get started. My dance card is really full. This lately, I don't know what's going on. Why it seems like the same amount of things, but it seems like they're busier or something. I don't know what it is. I do kind of know what it is. It's like for us in the Northern Hemisphere, this is the time to hurry up and get your stuff done before we go to the darker part of the year when your manifestation kind of slows down a little bit. And so this Leo time frame is like heavy fire energy propelling us forward to get things accomplished. So lots of things wanting to be done, but this little guy, this little blob, it looks like a little blob, like with a cute little mouth, just like a river. These were all river stones. I think they came from Mexico because these are my Texas rocks. So I know I picked this one up in Texas. And he's got all sorts of little faces. So elemental spirits very, very strongly wanted to come out this month, hence the decks that I chose to work with for August. And I know we're 8 days in already and yada yada, but it's like somehow I had to get to Lionsgate before I could do all this other stuff. So without further ado, I'm going to be working with the Fairies Oracle from Brian Froud. We're going to pull a few cards for that. And I don't know, my nose is very itchy. Every time I get on with you guys, my nose is like dink-a-dink-a-dink, like it's Samantha from Bewitched. I know that happens to people sometimes when they channel. They say their nose itches a lot. There's a lot of energy coming down from the crown. And the deck that wanted to work with the Brian Froud deck, and it wasn't very adamant, but somehow it arranged itself so that it could be purchased together. This is the Hush Tarot. And we're going to just pull a few cards from this one as well. I don't normally do that flip through stuff on my channel, like other things I need to accomplish on the channel. But that one, there's some flip throughs out there on both of these. Like I like to look at deck flip throughs, and you can look at those. And this is Loveland, my autumn pack. So this one is coming out to just bring a little bit of levity, because you will see the Brian Froud deck and the Hush Tarot are kind of like darker. They're not darker there because they're more like brown. If you're listening, they're more like brown, gold, like a tea-stained kind of a look. That to me is the colors that are emanating for this August, like fiery. Fire is there. I brought out the fire in my autumn deck. It's got like fiery colors to brighten up the golds, and the Brian Froud deck has a lot of browns, golds, and blues and greens. The Hush Tarot does have a lot of color in it, but it's more of a tea-stained look. So let's just, for this part of our segment, pull, and then we'll go up to the tarot table and lay them out so you can see the aesthetic and just kind of feel the energy. What folks need to know about for the month of August. Wow, we got 3 cards. I will show them. First one is, oh, that gnome. The second one is, it's hard for me to read these without going to the book. The book is amazing. It's hardcover. I've been wanting this deck for a while now, and finally I was able to start working with the Fae. A lot of soul work has been done, and I'm starting a whole new chapter, and so a lot of things I've been working on were completed, and so a lot of energy has been opening up for me to start working with other things now. So I'm very blessed and grateful for that. So we have Oh That Gnome, which is trickster energy, creative chaos, wild gifts, and breaking habits and patterns. And we might have to do a show on that. And that was card number 26. And then we had card number 61. I don't know the font on these, but this is Hobya, Hobyah, imaginary fears, unreal hazards, and realistic caution. And he's kind of got his arms, he looks like a little, forgive me if I get your kingdom wrong, but he's like a little kind of a gnome slash troll slash, I don't know, but he's got his arms kind of crossed in front of him like an X. So we probably need to explore that. And then the other one that came up with that, that third card that came up is 65, the feline, F-E-E, lion, getting it right, delayed completions, and tidying up loose ends. So these are all, oh my God, these cards are so amazing. So I'm going to put them up on the table together and do the camera back over there in a minute. But I did want to just pull these out here face to face, so we do have some FaceTime. And then the Hush Tarot, what do we need to know for August, for the month ahead, for the rest of August? Oh, we got one card. We got the World card. And what I love about the Hush Tarot, again, you can check it out if it calls to you, is it's done by Jeremy Hush. And Jeremy Hush began his creative career in the underground world of punk and metal bands, designing album covers and flyers, as well as booking bands and traveling around the world. But he specializes in Gilded Aged techniques, and he uses immensely detailed work using a ballpoint pen and found materials for pigment, often using his fingerprints to create shading, giving his work an aged, textured, and timeless quality. And what I like, and I wish the cards were bigger because the details inside of them are so amazing. Like I'm gonna have to buy a magnifying glass to see some of the details. So the book is really good because it will call out some of those things. But there's just amazing, amazing detail. This card needs to probably be about 3 times the size that it is so that we can really appreciate the amazing artwork. But the World card says, through determination and hard work, you have reached your goals. Like a view from a high window, she surveys her accomplishments. The arch appears to be withered and near collapse. See your life and how your decision-making at every twist and turn has brought you to this point. On closer look, which we probably need a magnifying glass to see, the arch is not coming down, but being built up. Cathedral ants, which they're in here somewhere, and my camera's can't even focus that closely. Cathedral ants work tirelessly to build giant, intricate structures that last through the onslaught of storms and leave a home for generations. The sparrow on the lady in this card on her hand represents that you have a handle on your past problems. Setbacks and disasters are in the past. You have experience and knowledge for the future. This card shows you the power you hold. And then from Loveland Autumn, of course, this card has been coming out a lot. Nature Lover. This is a picture I drew with chalk of a tree out in nature with fairy rings and butterflies and lavender and beautiful skies and a shaman's portal and a sly little tree smile. And it says, as the sun set slowly over Loveland Park, the trees slyly smiled. Karen lay on her picnic blanket and enjoyed the moment. So those are the cards for August. I think what I'm going to do instead, so this is not a ginormously long video, is we'll intro the decks and the cards here, and we've got the layout, and I'll show you them up on the table, and then I will do like quote unquote an extended reading as a separate video because we already have we have Glumphing in this video, and we have our August a sweater song, and we have some other things going on here, so I don't want this video to be too long. So I'll do it like that, and then if you want to interact with that content, you can. We can go into the deeper meanings of the cards. But that is the high level energy for August. Let me just check in with the guides if there's anything else they want me to say about that. They're saying, nope, that is enough for now. So I want to thank you for joining me for this little segment of our August energy hangout. And let me just, I do feel like I just want to, they're saying read one of the cards. So read, they want me to read 61, because he's at the center of, if I pick up the camera, it looks like across the cards, and the world is at the bottom, and card number 61, the G, oh, it's G, like the initial G dot Hubia. This is in the center of the reading. So this is imaginary fears, unreal hazards, and realistic caution. And from the book, it says he, meaning G Hubia, and this is Brian Froud, refuses to tell me what the G in his name stands for, because he says the more we know about him, the less power he has, and the harder it is to do his job. This tells you a lot about him. His powers lie in our imaginations and fears, not in the real world, not in any of the real worlds. This is the wicked thing in the closet who keeps frightened children, this is the owie bowie, awake at night with eerie, snuffling, wuffling sounds. But when you turn on the light and open the door, he isn't there. So this same energy is prevalent for the whole month, it looks like. This is the owie bowie that we talked about in our August energy story. This is the references that the guides had me make to that Twilight Zone episode with that creature on the wing of the plane where, you know, no one can see him but the one guy, and he's freaking out because that creature's trying to, like, you know, mess up the plane's engine and cause delays in their plans. And Brian writes, he exists only through the collection of our fears. The Hubia thrives on fears, getting stronger and stronger until we face him. He is a sham, a tiny fear blown all out of proportion, and the smallest positive thought will banish him. All of fairyland knows this, and no one is afraid of him. G. Hubia's job is to wave our imaginary fears in front of us, making them look as alive and real as he can. He's pretty good at this. The challenge he offers us is to see that certain fears of ours are imaginary and to distinguish them from things we actually need to be cautious about. In this way, he tries to teach us to look past the fear and see the real trulio truth, whatever that truth is. It is a difficult job, and G. Hubia, the Pook, Guacha, the feline, and a few other hard-working fairies get together twice a week for other-world nectar, hazelnuts, cheese, and applesauce, and to grumble about humans and support each other. The work they do, hard as it is merely an apprenticeship for the much harder work for which they get to wear a starry crown, like Epona's wild daughter and Lise of the Shadows. It takes a lot of patience and skill in dealing with human flaws to get promoted to that level. If you could hear the stories they tell. So we also do have the feline in our reading. So that's two kind of Fey energy, elemental energy coming out to support us, right? Because there's a blessing in every lesson this month. Because the reading is, it's time to look for the truth behind our fears, to distinguish between what is real and what is just our protection of old traumas and fears into our imaginary future. By delving into old patterns, we can see past them to a more liberating life. Only by facing these fears honestly and seeing them for what they are do we gain greater ability to open our hearts to the singer of courage and gain in strength to face the really difficult challenges in our life. Each false fear confronted and resolved makes us much stronger. So it looks like false fears coming up this month. Lovely. But the world card is sitting underneath that. So I'm going to stop this here. I'm going to show you a picture of the spread, and then we will do a separate reading and dive into this a little bit further for the month ahead. And that seems like, I said we were tying up loose ends, I think at the beginning of the month, and we still have sniggling 2 weeks now. It's been, and I saw 2222 on the timer right now. You just have a few things to clear before you're ready to move forward. And they're not even real fears, they're imaginary fears. They're fears of sniggles that have happened, things that have happened to you in the past coming up to try to keep you from moving forward. So clear those, just clear those things. Move forward with courage and faith and trust in yourself that you've done the hard work that it takes to get you to where you're at now, and that you're ready to move forward. What you seek is seeking you. What you seek is seeking you. All right, friends. So let's see what these cards look like up on the tarot table. All right, so here we are with our tarot table for this month. Here's the cards that we just drew. Nature Lover, the top, like a cross, Jehubia in the middle, Bee Lion to the right, the Gnome to the left, and the World card at the bottom. So we are going to get a little bit more in depth with a reading on that. So stay tuned for that video. And I hope you have a beautiful, amazing August. If I don't see you again, I hope that I will. Take care. A prayer for courage. In the silence, I meet you here. We wander through the shadow and leaves of our fears. How can I overcome this doubt and insecurity? You say, look within me. Doubt dissolves, fears dissipate. In your loving look, all else abates.